server and desktop for the enterprise. So you might be wondering why I'm here, because the enterprise is pretty different in a lot of ways from the HPC space, although I'd actually argue that they're converging somewhat. I actually have only been at VMware for about 2 months. I have about 20 years experience in HPC, mostly at Sun Microsystems and at Thinking Machines Corporation. So I joined reporting to our CTO, and I'm running a new HPC effort at VMware. And what I want to talk to you today about really isn't about VMware technology at all. I want to just talk generally about virtualization and its potentials for HPC. And I want to be very clear, I'm not here to tell you that virtualization is now capable of solving all the problems or solving all of HPC's issues up and down the entire range of scale that HPC works at. As a couple of previous speakers talked about earlier, the HPC space is actually quite diverse. The mid-range and low-end are very different from what some of the things that are done at the high-end. I'll get into this in more detail, but I don't want to give you the impression that we believe that virtualization is completely applicable within the HPC community at this point. Take this more as a statement of intent and a statement of belief that we can actually go and do this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is start with a couple of definitions and sort of set the stage for what I'd like to talk about. And in particular, I'll give you some idea of how virtualization is used in the enterprise, at least briefly, because that will inform the discussion about how we might be able to use virtualization techniques within the HPC community to advantage. And then we'll talk about those. We'll talk about what the opportunities are for virtualization in HPC. And then we'll talk about the question that I'm sure you're all interested in is, well, okay, what's this going to cost me, right? We're talking about putting more software on the stack, not putting less software there. So it's definitely going to cost something to introduce virtualization to HPC. The question really is, how much is it going to cost? And then you need to balance that against what you get in return for it to make a decision about whether or not you think it's useful for your particular